Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and what better way to start off the new year than with a horror movie? Today I'm going to be talking about Rec 4 Apocalypse, the final chapter in the Rec series, and okay one at that. Before we get to the movie, I'm going to mention my opinion on the earlier Rec films. The first Rec, I love it. It's one of my favorite found footage. It's probably my favorite found footage horror movie, actually. I felt it did everything right. It was very believable. You understood why they were filming most of the time. And everybody just felt like real people. They didn't feel like characters in the movie. And it worked. It's a really awesome film. I love the part where the one guy gets attacked by a zombie and he yells at the cameraman to help him. And the cameraman actually sets the camera down and goes and helps him. And doesn't keep filming like an idiot. So it's very smart and great movie. If you're a horror fan and you haven't seen the first Rec, see it. It's great. Rec 2, very solid sequel. I wouldn't say it's great or as good as the first. I felt some of the excuses to have like cameras filming were a little goofy, like having the elements of like the kids filming. I don't know, I thought it was a little off, but for the most part, solid sequel that expands the story and expands like the mythology even more. And it does what a sequel should do. It expands upon the original, adds to it, and it's still an awesome film. It's worth checking out. Rec 3, I don't get why that movie was made. The beginning portion, because that movie ditches the found footage aspect after about like 20 minutes. And the beginning stuff with the found footage was awesome, because it was very believable, because it takes place at a wedding, and everybody has been to a wedding, so it felt really real, and when the big outbreak happens, it was actually pretty scary. And then the rest of the movie becomes really goofy, and it was an enjoyable flick, but it wasn't nowhere near the level of the first two. It became a bit too generic zombie action movie. And now that brings us to Rec 4, Apocalypse. And I'd say it's a return to form in that it's darker, there's no more of that weird humor from the third one. It's a darker film. It's an entertaining zombie movie. It's a great movie to kill 90 minutes. You could do worse than this. But being like the big finale to the Rec series, it doesn't play that way. That's the problem, is that it doesn't play that way. The fact that the movie is called Apocalypse, there's really no apocalypse in this movie. So the movie picks up right after Rec 2, since Rec 3 was a prequel. So this follows off right after Rec 2, which I really like. And it follows the character of Angela, the reporter from the first film, and she was also in the second one, who gets found by these SWAT members who go into the building. They find her, and then she ends up waking up on this oil tanker out in the middle of the ocean and discovers that there's scientists in there experimenting on her and trying to figure out this whole disease that's causing the zombies to come to life. And that's basically it. So the movie itself, like I said, is not like a big movie. It's not like a big finale. That's what I found kind of weird about it. It's just an entertaining zombie flick. The characters, aside from Angela, who it's awesome to see her back in this series, and because you really liked her character in the first film. I really liked her character in the first film. So it's great to see her back and to follow her. But the rest of the characters, pretty throwaway. I will say the thing that annoyed me the most is the whole demonic possession aspect that was like heavily done it was implied in the first one and heavily shown in the second one. It's pretty much forgotten in this one and pretty much ignored. They mention it, but it's pretty much ignored, and the whole thing is just like a parasite instead of like a demonic thing. And I was like, oh, because that's what made the Rec movies stand out from the typical zombie movies, was that it wasn't just a zombie outbreak. There's also like demonic possession involved, and that was a really cool thing. And this one just throws that out the window, and it's like, oh. And the whole, I guess, mild spoiler if you haven't seen Rec 2, Angela being possessed is again kind of thrown out the window in this one too. I mean, it's more a part of the plot. It's explained why she's not in this one, but it's kind of like, I wanted to explore that. That's what I want to see. I want to see what she did after the second one, but nah, she's just normal. And it's like, So that's kind of my issue with the movie, is the fact that it's nothing special. But, that being said, it is an entertaining flick. The movie is not nearly as gory as I thought it would be. It's not constantly gory. There's very gory moments, but it's not, constantly gory. But for the most part, the death scenes are really good. They're really fun to watch. And Sounded really sick saying that, but you get what I mean. And the best part of this movie is a part that's only in it for a little short time, and it's basically zombie monkeys. But it was awesome. There's 2 scenes with the zombie monkeys, and it was sick. It was really cool. And then the way I like the way all the guys get infected in the movie. The way that happens, that I find really funny and really cool. And yeah, it's all like the movie itself is nothing special. It's nothing to like. You don't have to go out and see Rec 4. But if you're a fan of the series, I think you'd like it. It does totally ditch the found footage aspect, but at this point, I'm fine with that because I'd rather have just a straight up movie that's some sort of like weird excuse to have somebody filming the whole time. You don't need that. It's gonna be like, I don't know. I feel like if all 4 movies were like completely found footage, I think it'd be pushing it. I felt they were pushing it by the second movie actually with some of the aspects in that. So I'm fine without the found footage. But some of you people like that. It does feel weird that the title of the series is Record, you know, and there's no cameras. But at this point, if you're 4 movies in, you're there for the story and not for the gimmick of it being found footage. So I don't mind that. It's worth checking out if you're a fan of the originals to see where the story progressed from the second movie, because the second movie ended on a very interesting note. And although it doesn't pay off totally like it should, it's still interesting to see. But yeah, overall just a fun movie. Oh, one thing I want to bring up, that again, I just don't get the point of Rec 3. It was just a random zombie event. And even in this movie, the only reference to it is there's this old lady on the ship who was the only survivor of the whole wedding incident. But then there's nothing really paid off with it. She just happens to be connected to the third movie. So again, I don't see Rec 3 was okay, but I don't see the point in it. Either way though, this is a fun conclusion to the series, though not the big epic movie it should be. So out of 10, as an enjoyable zombie flick, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Because I had fun with it. I like how they were able to use footage from the first movie in here because the characters find the video camera that they used in the first movie to shoot all the stuff that happened. And so there's scenes of them watching that, and that's how they find out about what happened at the end of Rec 2. And I thought that was a really interesting and original idea and a cool way to utilize the found footage aspect of the first movie in a movie that's not found footage. And I thought that was really smart and really cool. There's interesting aspects. I like how there's one character in the movie you don't expect to be like the last surviving hero at the end, and he is, and that was a really cool idea. And there's kind of like a little twist with the main guy near the end. That was interesting. I was like, okay, I didn't expect that. So there's that. And again, it was a fun movie. The zombie kills a little too much shaky cam here and there during some of the deaths. But overall, just a fun zombie flick that is well made, well acted, and an entertaining movie. But again, it's nowhere near like the greatness of where the series once was. I guess that's kind of the biggest flaw with it. Is the fact that I ranked the first Rec so high up there as like one of the great horror movies, and Rec 2 is close under, but not quite there. And the fact that the last 2 are kind of just like, it's a little disappointing, but overall, entertaining movie. And yeah, that's Rec 4 Apocalypse. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.